nichrome. Okay, nichrome consists of iron, nickel and chromium. Iron, nickel and chromium. In the same way, invar, it contains iron, I think it is copper, iron, copper, manganese and carbon. All these are ferrous alloys. If we take examples for the non-ferrous alloys, brass, we know that it consists of copper and zinc. Okay. Next, bronze, copper and tin. Bell metal also contain copper and tin. Okay. German silver. It contains copper, zinc and nickel also. In the same way, aluminium bronze, aluminium and copper, aluminium bronze, magnesium, aluminium and magnesium. In all these alloys, there is no iron. So these are called non-ferrous alloys. Okay, so D block elements form alloys because the D block elements are similar in size and the sizes are very less, so they can form a homogeneous mixture. That homogeneous mixture of two or more metals is called an alloy. That is about formation of alloys. Next, another important property of D block elements is formation of interstitial compounds. Formation of interstitial compounds. So what are interstitial compounds? If some atoms of elements like hydrogen, boron, carbon and nitrogen are trapped in the interstices of these interstices are also known as holes. We might have gone through this in solid state. These holes are again of two types there, tetrahedral voids and holes are voids, or you can write it as voids, tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. Okay, if hydrogen, boron, carbon, nitrogen like small atoms are trapped or fixed in the interstices of metal atoms, okay, then interstitial compounds are formed. Interstitial compounds are formed. Of course, these interstitial compounds are non-stoichiometric. These are non-stoichiometric means they do not follow the formula of normal oxidation states. Okay, they do not form compounds, they do not contain the formula, okay, which follows normal oxidation states. Okay, so they are non-stoichiometric compounds. What are non-stoichiometric compounds? We might have gone through these things in first year. Okay, so we discussed their oxides. We discussed there oxides. Okay, FeO. In solid states also we discussed FeO is present as FeO point 922 to 0.96. FeO 0.92 to 0.96. Actually, the formula of iron oxide, ferrous oxide is FeO. That means the ratio of iron and oxygen should be 1:1. But oxygen is less than 1. Okay. So such compounds are called non-stoichiometric compounds. D block elements form non-stoichiometric compounds mainly of these. For example, if we take titanium hydride, TiH 1. I think it is 1.76, I think. Okay, so you observe in textbooks. And vanadium hydride, VH 0.5, VH, it is 0.86, I think. Just 1 minute. Right, 0.56. This is 1.7. Okay, actually the expected formula is TiH2, but it is TiH 1.7. In the same way, vanadium hydride, it is expected to be 1:1. That means hydrogens must be 1. Okay, but it is just 0.56. Right. So these are non-stoichiometric compounds, interstitial compounds. Okay. So as why these small atoms like hydrogen, boron, carbon and nitrogen to be taken? Because as D block elements, atoms are very small in size, the holes formed are also less. Okay. So as the size of hole is or radius of hole is less, small sized atoms only can accommodate in these holes. That is the reason. In general, hydrogen is accommodated in tetrahedral voids. Hydrogen and boron, tetrahedral voids. Similarly, carbon and nitrogen are accommodated in octahedral voids. They are accommodated in octahedral voids. Okay. Next, what are the properties of these interstitial compounds? If we take the properties of interstitial compounds, interstitial compounds. Their melting points and boiling points are high. Their melting points are very high when compared to pure metals. Okay. Pure metals means without hydrogen, boron, carbon or nitrogen in their holes. If we take melting points, that will be less when compared to these interstitial compounds. That means in which the holes are occupied by hydrogen, carbon, boron and nitrogen. Next, second one, they are very hard. They are hard when compared to the pure metals. For example, borides. Borides means boron is trapped in the holes of the crystals, metal crystals. Okay, borides are as harder as diamond. Okay, almost like diamond, they are very hard. Similarly, they are inert. They are inert. That means they do not participate in chemical bond easily. Next one. Okay. They have conductivity. They have conductivity like pure metals. So conductivity cannot be affected due to the trapping of hydrogen, boron, carbon and nitrogen in d block metal crystals. Okay, so these are the properties. And if we take density is more. Density is more. Why density is more? Mass increases. In the same volume, mass increases. So density also increases. So density of interstitial compounds is more when compared to the pure metals. Okay. So these are the properties of d block elements. And there are two in-text questions that we have to answer. Okay. In-text questions. Which is a stronger reducing agent? Which is a stronger reducing agent? Cr plus 2 or Fe plus 2 and Y. Okay, which one is stronger reducing agent? Either Cr plus 2 or Fe plus 2 and Y. It is an important question. If we take solution for this one, what is the electronic configuration of Cr plus 2? What is the electronic configuration of Cr plus 2? Electronic 4s, actually 4s1, 3d5 is the configuration of chromium. For plus 2, one electron is removed from 4s and one electron is removed from d. So we will get 3d4 configuration. It is a stronger reducing agent, means it must undergo oxidation. It must undergo oxidation means its oxidation number to be increased. Okay, so we will write like this. Okay, so in reduction, Cr plus 2 changes to Cr plus 3. Cr plus 2 changes to Cr plus 3. That means D4 configuration to D4 configuration to D3 configuration, which contains 3 electrons. Which contains 3 electrons, and these 3 electrons are in T2g orbitals. Okay, T2g orbitals contains 1 electron each according to Hund's rule. So it is a stable, and in the reduction of Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3, Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3, the configuration changes from iron atomic number is 26. So its configuration is 4s2 3d6. Okay, 4 plus 2 means 4s0. This is the configuration of Fe plus 2. Fe plus 3 means one more electron to be removed. So from d6 configuration to it converts to d5 configuration, contains 5 unpaired electrons. So here 3 unpaired electrons and here 5 unpaired electrons. Okay, So both are stable, but according to crystal field theory, containing 3 unpaired electrons will be more stable when compared to 5 unpaired electrons. So according to crystal field theory, so configuration with 3 electrons, 3 unpaired electrons is more stable than the configuration with the 5 unpaired electrons. Okay, which will be discussed later in complex compounds. Right? So that is the reason. And one more question is there. Explain why Cu plus ion. Important. This is also important. Why Cu plus ion? Why Cu plus ion is not stable? Why Cu plus ion is not stable in aqueous solution? So this is another question. Why Cu plus ion is not stable? Actually, what is the configuration of Cu plus ion? For copper, the electron configuration is 4s1 3d10. Cu plus means 4s0 3d10. When 3d10 configuration is there, we expect some stability when compared to Cu. But in aqueous solution, Cu plus ions undergo disproportionation reaction. Okay, so the solution or answer for this question is Cu plus ions in aqueous solutions undergo disproportionation reaction. Okay, so we have already mentioned this one. 2Cu plus in aqueous solution convert into Cu plus 2 aqueous plus Cu solid. In higher oxidation state it is stable. So unstable Cu plus converts into stable Cu plus 2, right, in aqueous solutions. So that is the reason, right? So we discussed all the properties of D block elements, and in the next class we will go to the property, that is formation of coordination compounds in detail in the next class, right? Okay, thank you.